Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm the Motorcycle Rescuer, and this is Motorcycle Rescuer. So yes, welcome back. Couple of bits I'd like to get done on the ZL today. I think there was a running issue on cylinder 1 last week. I think the first carb overflowed with fuel. So I think it was overwhelmed with fuel and it couldn't properly fire its cylinder. So I'm going to do a quick bench test. I'm going to put some fuel in the container. We're going to set it up and we're going to watch carb 1 to make sure none comes out. I don't know why I think it done that. Maybe I saw a drip. But I have convinced myself that carb 1 overflowed, as in the float is stuck. Well, which is fair. The carbs have been sitting around a while, even though they were cleaned. So I'm going to have a quick look at that. Second thing I would have liked to have done today is I think there's a split in one of these hoses. I think it's the left one. I need to put some high temp fuel resistant glue on it and then some specialist plumbing tape around it. Because it's hidden under the tank, any repair you do won't be an issue. Can't see it, won't see it. It just needs to hold the actual coolant, doesn't it? So I'm going to look into sealing that as well. And I mean, there's not much more. The weather is shocking, guys. It was meant to not be raining right now. I checked. It's meant to not rain all day. So yesterday it was meant to rain all day and it didn't. Today it's not meant to rain and it is. Tells you about our weather services. So let me at least do the carb bench test so that we can see if carb number 1 is dropping extra fuel out. I kind of hope it is, so that the problem is clear. And then I need to pull off the carbs, check them all, clean them all out again, make sure it's all good to go. So I'm set up for my bench test. My hypothesis is when I switch the fuel on, after a little while, fuel may come out of here. That's my hypothesis. It's kind of my hope as well, really, weirdly, because at least then we know what we're looking at. So let's keep an eye on this area here. I'm turning the fuel on now. Once I see spill anywhere, guys, I'm going to switch the fuel off quickly because I don't want any of the paint being ruined. So the fuel is on now. So all the carbs will be filling up. So we'll keep an eye for any overspill. It's going to take them a little while to fill up. All of the bowls are filling up. So my guess was that fuel would come out of here. Okay. Right, the fuel's still going down here, it's still filling up, but I do think we would have seen it by now, if I'm being honest. We'll wait a minute. Oh, I'm gonna have to put more in. Maybe I drain them out. Can't see any signs of overspill. Watching the fuel though, that will tell us if it was going into the oil, which it could be. So at the moment it's at this level here. It's just up on the end of that L or E. So let's give it a minute and see if that all disappears, because now the carbs should be full. All the bowls should be full now. It evens itself out as it goes along. Oh, 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 oh. Can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see that? There you go. Look, look. Drip, 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 drip. Drip, 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 drip. Okay. So this carb is over fueling. It took a while, but it is. Let me switch this off. That means it would have been just getting way too much. Look. Okay. Alright, that's good news and bad news, but it's something we can look at. Great. I'll pop that carb off. I'll check that flow. I'll give it a good clean again. And we are in, we know it now that cylinder number 1, which was having the issue, is having issue with either float heights or sticky valve, etc, etc. Alright, that's good. Great. What I need to do now is, what do I need to do? Let it drip a little bit. I've turned the fuel off, and then I'll pop these carbs off. I'll give that first one a bit of a clean and a bit of a look at. So there was a touch of stale fuel in there, guys, in that chamber, so it's cleaned out. And we start again. It seems to be much better now and free. Chuck it back on the bike, do a second bench test. You'd be nuts not to. It should be able to sit there for 5-10 minutes and not overspill, basically. Also, in regards to if you had this issue with an older model and it just wasn't disappearing carb-wise, then using a suction system would help. It would only suck the amount of fuel you need. I don't know if this bike runs a suction system or not. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, so I want these carbs to seal properly. If this seals properly, I'm going to do the water again, as in I'm going to fix that hose or check that it has a split, and then I think I'll get the leads out on it again and fire it up maybe, and we'll see if it looks better on the carb tune second time round, and if we can actually tune the carbs. That'd be a great step. Then we'll be looking at the fan problem again. If we have to throw it back on a switch, we can. It's not the end of the world, but we paid nearly 100 quid for that little thermo switch, so it should work. So let's see. Right, I'll chuck these back on. We'll do a second bench test. So round 2, guys. I've got the fuel is on. You can see it sinking into the 4 carbs. It did take 2 or 3 minutes last time, so I'll set you up here. Keep an eye out. We are looking for here any. Oh, if I left the thing undone, look. That's annoying. So let's switch this off immediately. I've left that screw undone. See it at the bottom there? Right, let me get in there, nip that up, and then we'll go again. So let's try again. I nipped that up while on the bike, although bloody hard to get to. They should make them more accessible. Let me just take that off so we know it's closed. Right, round 2. We're looking for spill here, or anywhere within this carb really. It did take a minute or 2 last time. The fuel is dropping into the 4 chambers. You can see it dropping. So let's wait a minute. Let's see what we get. The hope is, of course, that we'll be here 3 or 4 minutes later and nothing's happened. That's the aim. But it did take that long last time, didn't it? I'm keeping an eye on all 4 just in case. You'd be amazed how easily it happens. I'm waiting for the fuel to stop to kind of even out, because then it's putting pressure on the system, if that makes sense. Once it settles, So far so good, but it did take a while last time. It squeezed up through here, didn't it? The fuel up there is still flowing, so it's still filling. You can see it kind of dropping. So it's still filling the 4 chambers. So that's kind of what it needs to do. It needs to kind of even out, and then it will put pressure on the system. I wonder if this is a suction fuel system. You think I'd know that, wouldn't you? Right, I think. Ooh, look. Same thing, guys. See that build up there? Same thing. It's over fueling on this cylinder. Not massively this time, but it is doing it. I think I need to adjust that float now. So I cleaned the chamber. Yeah, look, you can see it now. It's dripping. I cleaned the chamber. But now I think I need to adjust that float a touch. I need to turn it off a bit earlier. It seemed okay when I checked it, but you just never know with this stuff. This is why you don't go too nuts. You don't connect everything up. You just kind of chuck them on, do the bench test, and whip them back off, because otherwise you really do drive yourself crazy if you connect everything up. So when you're doing these tests, guys, don't connect everything up. There's really no need at this stage. Just chuck it on, or don't even chuck it on. Just bench test it off the bike. So, 3rd time unlucky. Again, we'll just let the fuel go in. There you'll see it kind of dropping. At the moment it's just at above the A. If you watch, look, it's dropping, it's filling the cylinders. Last time it took basically the whole thing and then a little top up to get them all going, but it shouldn't really. Maybe that's because some spilled out. Let's check this time. What I did was I adjusted the float, guys. I adjusted it a bit higher, so that it shuts off a bit earlier. That could be it, or not. But again, if using a suction fuel system, it's not too much of a worry. I guess the problem is that it's hard to balance the carbs unless you're using the suction system. You can't really balance the carbs while using that system is the problem. Right, let's see. So we're still dropping quite quickly up there. So we're still filling all 4 chambers up. And then they're going to be evening out across themselves. And then the weakest link's going to let go. Or there'll be no weak links and it will not overflow. It could go either way. It actually came out a bit earlier last time, I felt, so maybe not too much waiting around this time. I've got the elevator music in my head. Okay, we're looking alright at the moment. Wait for it. Wait for it. It looks to me like that's stopped now, guys. Look, if you look, so the pressure's on the system now. So far so good, that's not overflowing. That means if I brought the car up and threw the battery on, we may have 4 functioning cylinders, and I may be able to check the sinking of them. It'd be nice for me to do that, wouldn't it, to see where we are on this bike. What else do I need to do? I also need to top up the cooling system in hope that the fan comes on. Alright, I think I'm going to do that, guys. I'm going to go and get the car. It seems fine now. Go and get the car. I'll bring it up. We'll connect the battery up and fire this thing up. See if we'll know if everything's good, because remember, on the sinker, it was just terrible. It was just shocking. So we'll know if it's back, and then we can get it balanced. If we're extremely lucky today, these cars will be sealed and balanced. Okay guys, so this is interesting. We've got fuel in there, we've got power, we've got everything set up. I'm most interested in this. I'm going to get a flat Phillips ready, or a Japanese spec ready, whatever it is, and get ready to tune them if it fires and idles enough to be tuned. Let's see if cylinder 1 looks happier. You remember how it looked last week or 2 weeks ago. Also, let's see if it starts at all, because you just never know. I haven't really got much set up, guys. I haven't got the choke connected. The pods aren't on.